What's up, people? We are back. Sideline specialist number episode 29, back in the building in the new year of 2025. And we are talking about the NFL playoffs, which all the matchups are set. It is right around the corner. We're talking about Tyreek Hill, talking that he's just off the team. He's just done with Miami. He's impregnated enough people. He's on his way out. And coaching searches begin around the NFL. There's also rumors aplenty with things like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams getting cut, all sorts of things. So without further ado, let's jump into things.
Welcome to Sideline Specialists.
Oh. Okay. I was waiting for the little bass drop there. Okay. What's going on, Tom? What's up?
Dude, I need to make an anime and use that as like a police chase song.
Yes.
That'd be
Speaking
sick.
of anime, I haven't gotten into many animes, so like I haven't been watching. Like I haven't watched many of like the big ones. And like the only anime I think I've watched all the way through is Haikyuu
Okay.
for obvious reasons.
You need to finish Death Note.
I need to do that, but I started Hunter x Hunter.
Okay.
And I'm already like halfway through season 2, and I started it like 4 days ago.
Sick.
So that's where I'm at right now.
The only long one I've ever finished is Fairy Tail.
Okay.
And it's over 400 episodes.
Damn.
Like it's a big boy, but it like when I first started watching, I was like, yeah, this shit's really dope. So I just stuck with it.
I got you.
I only watch anime in whatever original language they made it in.
Okay.
With subtitles, because so many of the dubbed versions sound so bad to me.
That's
like
true.
I can't stand it. I don't care if I have to read while it's going. It just feels more like real. You hear the emotion better, I think, is what I should say, like in the lines. But
I feel you. That makes sense.
Death Note is a masterpiece, like an absolute masterpiece.
I have heard that is amazing. There's a few that I have like that people have told me to watch that I just haven't gotten around to watching yet. But I know that's one that I definitely want to once I'm done with Hunter x Hunter for sure. One Piece I tried, but in the back of my mind,
so long.
That's the thing. In the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, there's 900 more episodes. So I just like couldn't get into it because in my head I'm like, I'm gonna be watching this until I'm fucking 70 years old.
Yeah. But it's like Death Note is like 45.
Okay.
Like it's yeah. Like the episodes to accommodate that are a little longer, which is kind of why I love it though. Like each episode gives you more, whereas like a lot of animes, they're like 21 to 30 minutes. It gives you like a snippet, and then you'll have like a bunch of episodes for one storyline, which that I like. But you get those like random filler ones, and you're like, I don't really know that we needed that.
Yeah, there's always those like 3 episodes of them like traveling across the rolling hills,
stopping at a cafe, exclaiming how much they love the food there, and then somebody starts choking on something, and like it's always some random like Fairy Tail does have a lot of that, but there's always something in each episode to like hint at what's coming or hype you or whatever, and then usually like one episode after that they'll like throw you into the deep end. And just the premise of it's cool. Like they're all like wizards, basically. In essence, with like any power you could possibly think of. Like each person has a unique skill set.
Okay.
So like one of the main characters is in the show. You're a dragon slayer. You have like dragon magic, and there's different
Mhm.
elements. So like there's a lightning one, there's a steel one, there's a fire one, etc.
Okay.
And there's just like anything. There's a dude who like literally has like magic playing cards and uses them as like weapons, and they can do wild shit. So it's like
Huh.
Twisted Fate from League of Legends, kind of that guy. But
That reminds me of the dude from Hunter x Hunter that has the playing cards.
I feel like that's like not common, but like an easy sort of like one to put in a show because
Right.
people are familiar with that sort of deal. But um, yeah, fun show. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, I will say there's like a few animes that I've tried to watch that I just like for some reason I'm just like, this just isn't grabbing my attention whatsoever. In like the first 3 episodes. So then I just like push it to the side and everyone's like, "Oh, you got to give it this many episodes." And I was like,
Yeah, that's what shit like that bothers me. I'm like, and one of the YouTube channels I've watched for a long time, Day 9 TV.
mhm,
When he started he has a series called Mostly Walking, where they play old school adventure games. It's him, his buddy Bill, and then his other buddy Sean. Um, or actually, not Bill now, Lee Grainer. Um,
okay.
she's I would say like fully transitioned now. Funniest person on that show, funniest like easily would come up with one liners, but she said it the best with you why does anything have to start boring or suckish? You can go from like you don't need to go from suck to not suck. You can just go from like not suck to no suck. Like you know what I mean? Like
Right.
you don't have to start so boring or like uh lack of attention grabbing that you actually have people just give up. Like you could just start a certain way that's interesting, even if it's not action. Like you can make things intriguing so that you want to see the outcome.
Right.
Um, and he was saying it more in terms of like The Last of Us as a game starts pretty slow,
Yep.
um, and is a huge investment as a game. Like you are going to play that for days. Like it is that's the kind of game it is.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but his point was like if I don't have the time to get into it to a point like that, don't show me that game yet. Because someone had tried to say, "Oh, play this, check this out," and it basically like they had 30 minutes, so you basically get through that opening cutscene, and then they had to leave. He's like, "That's not a game at that point." Um, but then they like related it to shows and stuff. Like you can just be good from the beginning. Like that's the whole point of a pilot episode, is so
Right.
a network wants the damn show. Um, so yeah, I like the two animes I have like ready to watch. Like they are the two I'm gonna watch next. I just need to figure out which one. Is Demon Hunter.
Okay.
Every fucking person I've ever heard talk about that show in any capacity is like blown away by it.
Yep. That's
Um,
what I've heard too.
and I need to just like restart My Hero Academia and finish it
Okay.
because I've seen a good amount of it, but I've never gone like super far. So I want to just like start fresh because it's been a while and just go. Because everything I've
That
seen so far in
one,
that show is really good.
yeah, that one I've heard great things about. What's the Full Metal Alchemist was the other one that a lot of people recommended.
That one's legendary. Like,
Yeah. And then what's the Attack on Titan?
yeah,
I
that
think
one that's one of the ones I have to be in the right headspace because that one is incredibly dark.
Oh, okay.
And like unbearably dark.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like if you watch the first episode, you will immediately see exactly what I mean. It's
Okay.
it's fucked up. But like I think I watched like 3 episodes, but like where I was at in life when I did that, I was like, I will have problems if I finish this right now. So took a
I
nice
got you.
old step back. I was gonna say with Full Metal Alchemist, it's old. Like that's why it's legendary. Like it's not new at all. Like the
Right.
first mangas I think were published according to this in like 2001.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they finally ended it 2010. But even that now it's 15 years. Hate saying that out loud. Fuck that. But anyway,
Oh, the other anime that I actually did watch and I'm actually really upset that it was only one season, was Samurai Champloo.
okay, I've heard about that.
That one was fucking awesome. Mainly because I'm a big fan of old school hip hop too. So like the whole like Wu-Tang feeling, how they have like the martial
Okay,
arts movies and stuff like that.
yeah,
This anime had like it was like the hip hop like samurai feel. So it was like really fucking cool to actually see that like from a obviously like from a Japanese viewpoint instead of
yeah,
like somebody in America just kind of putting it over it.
sick.
So that was really cool. It just
I,
sucks that it was only one season.
yeah, I was gonna say so many like good shows or animes get ended prematurely
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
But
But
yeah.
with that being said, we should actually talk some football here. So I will bring up our final picks of the year, which happen to be our week 17 picks, since, holidays, all sorts of stuff like that.
Yep.
And you won't believe it, but we finished one game apart.
Sick, dude.
Literally one game apart.
Jesus.
It I mean, we both did really fucking well. Like 127 and 81, 128 and 80. Like we definitely destroyed most analysts on big networks.
With like minimal effort too, because they just fucking suck.
Exactly.
Like like Nick Wright the other day. I have to segue to this from that for 2 seconds. Him
Yeah.
saying it was the worst decision in the NFL ever that Patrick Mahomes didn't get elected to the Pro Bowl. For what, Nicholas? He fucking sucked this year. They have a good defense and the refs are in their pocket. So calm
Right.
yourself. Nobody wants him in that game anyway. There are people that are clearly better than him right now this season that made it.
It
The end.
was statistically his worst season of his career.
Yeah, and we're gonna pretend like because he's Patrick Mahomes, he just belongs there. No, if you suck during a season compared to how the rest of the league is and compared to yourself in previous years, you shouldn't go.
Right.
That's it.
And if like the AFC representative for the Super Bowl is like the Ravens or the Bills or something, they'll put him in as an alternate.
Yeah. And then all of his dick sucking fans can go and worship him some more.
Exactly.
There you go.
But yeah, week 17 was honestly, I still hate the way that was scheduled. Week 17 was honestly like it, especially from a fantasy standpoint, frustrated the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Having to pay attention Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Like, guys, calm the fuck down and put it on Sunday, Monday. I don't even want Thursday nights anymore. Fuck Thursday nights.
Yeah. Well,
Sunday, Monday.
and then to follow up a crazy week like that with the Christmas games,
Right.
right? Like you had Monday and then you're like, okay, we're in the next week, right? And then games again. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, cool. And then I'm fully with what LeBron said. Like, Christmas is for the fucking NBA, dude.
Yeah.
Like, please. I know the NFL got great viewership. And part of like that is definitely because Netflix, like it was available. But in my head, my whole life, it's like I'm very much looking forward to the Christmas Day NBA games. Like that's fully a thing. Like,
Yep.
so
I still watched way more of the NBA games than the NFL games because, like, also, I feel as though the numbers were a little skewed because there was a lot of people that tuned in specifically for that Beyonce halftime show and then turned it off.
yep,
And on
absolutely.
top of that, the 2 games were blowouts.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved that the Ravens blew out the Texans, but at that point, I was like, "Ooh, the Sixers are beating the Celtics right now."
Yeah.
Like, that's way bigger to me because I'm like, they should not be beating the Celtics at all. And then
Because I was way more focused on that the whole time too, though. I kept noticing. I was like, "Holy shit, we're like in this game." And I was like, "Oh, holy shit, we're like ahead."
yeah.
I love this.
And and then the Lakers Warriors game with LeBron and Steph going back and forth that whole time, like the NBA games, the quality of the NBA games were so much higher than those 2
Oh,
NFL games.
easily,
And
easily.
then on top of that, it's like, okay, they got bigger numbers. Yes, because they only had 2 games, first off. Second off, we already know that the NFL is going to get bigger numbers on a weekly basis because the games happen on specific days, and each game is of the highest importance because they only play 17 games.
Yeah.
Like, we know all of that, and we know the NBA regular season, you get some leeway here and there. Usually after the All-Star break is like the big part of the regular season when people make pushes. But yeah, I agree. Christmas Day is the NBA. NFL has Thanksgiving. I love watching football on Thanksgiving when you got the dinner and everybody
Yeah.
around. Just keep it the way it is. Just stop doing stupid shit, especially when you have to stretch games to a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's all just I mean, it's just all money, man. It's so frustrating because it's just like not what we as the consumer and viewer want
Right.
or give a shit about. Like and I'm with you. It's like Sunday in my head is and always will be football. Period.
Right.
Period. It's like at like pro, and then Saturday is college, and then that's where I'm at. And then Tuesdays are when the MAC conference plays. Like it's there's these set things that just think they don't need to be messed with, and
Exactly.
it's just happening too often now. Like
And like,
I don't mind the Black Friday game. I'll say that as long as the Raiders are always one of the teams,
right.
because then it fully makes sense. Or like the Ravens, or at least one of the teams has to have the ability to wear all black.
Right.
So technically the Eagles could do it now because they have black helmets. But
True.
if it's right by Thanksgiving, it's a holiday you already kind of owned in terms of what was going to be on.
Yeah.
Stop reaching for everything else. It's fucking annoying.
Yep. And the other thing is, nobody wants to be forced. Like, a big thing with the NBA losing viewership was the fact that they don't have an easy way to just watch every game.
Yeah.
The NFL has that ability with like Red Zone, or you buy Sunday ticket, you literally get every game, no questions asked, and you know the 2, 3 channels that it's going to be on every time. NBA has all sorts of different shit going on. NBA League Pass gets blacked out if you're in the local area, and it has all sorts of rules and stuff like that. But the NFL has those things, so they make it easy to watch those games. But the point you start saying, "Oh, you got to get this streaming service and that streaming service and do this and do that." That's when people start to get pissed off. They don't want to have to go get Netflix and Peacock and Hulu and all of this just to watch games on different days.
Yeah.
Like, you're already forcing Amazon Prime for what is the shittiest day of the NFL week almost every single time. And then Netflix, like, it wasn't, I'm not saying like the production and stuff was bad, but like now you're forcing everyone to also have to get Netflix for one single day for 2 games.
Yeah. I think it is kind of a case of like if you have it already, cool, watch it. But it's like for anybody, like honestly, do not go out of your way for this shit. It's
Right.
never gonna be worth it, really.
Exactly.
Um, so yeah, I mean, if they end up at a point where they're doing like full slates of games on one of these someday, then it's like, okay, maybe, but I don't know that I see that necessarily happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, if the Christmas games had actually been good, I think it might have felt different.
Right.
Um, but just the amount of like hype they tried to give it, compared to how, like you said, it was just two blowouts. I mean, Baltimore dismantled the Ravens the entire game, start to finish. Like it was just not competitive whatsoever. And then the Chiefs Steelers was close for a little bit. I think it was what, like 15-10, some weird score, and then it just went super downhill for Pittsburgh, and
Right.
they couldn't do shit. And then it was just like, all right, no reason to watch this anymore. So
Yep. Yeah. It overall, not a fan. I really hope they don't try to do it again. Like if Christmas falls on a Sunday, okay, that's one thing. Like
yeah, because then it's like
that's your day anyway.
they just happen to be Christmas Day games. It's not like it was planned that way. It's just that's, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that obviously it's like, but if that was to happen, even in my head, I'd be like, okay, you don't have to oversell that they're Christmas Day games now. It's like it's
Right. It
just
is
how
what
it
it is.
happened. So
Yep. I completely agree. So that takes us to week 18. Obviously there was a lot of games that came down to the end, A, but B, games that decided a lot of playoff seeding. I mean, right away on Saturday, you had the Ravens start off. If they won, they got the division win, which ended up happening. The Steelers ended up losing, which kept the Bengals' playoff hopes alive for a day. And all they needed was Denver to lose
and they
and
did
the
not.
Dolphins to lose.
And yeah, what Denver did was massacre the second team of the Kansas City Chiefs, which to keep it a buck was fucking beautiful. I don't even care. Seeing 38-0 makes me feel very warm inside. Um,
Yeah.
that made me extremely happy. Uh, I
Denver
feel
put belt to ass to Carson Wentz.
yeah. I mean, Bo Nix 26 of 29, I believe, the franchise record for completion percentage in a game. Which is just, I mean, it's crazy. He's a rookie, and you look at the QBs that have played for that franchise. That is beyond impressive.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, just good for Denver, to be honest. Good for Denver, because they were one of those teams that took a rookie quarterback in this draft. Were semi criticized for not making bigger moves to acquire one of the other ones. Got Bo Nix, and guess what? Dude's a stud.
Yep.
Thank God that was one of my takes. I knew this kid was going to be a fucking stud, and he did not disappoint me. He definitely did not disappoint like really anyone. But yeah, that division has 3 reps, so good for the AFC West. They
True.
showed up.
And I'm excited to see the Chargers because I feel like they're gonna be fine against Houston. Um, and honestly, like when it comes to Denver, I mean, I feel like they can give the Bills a game. I'm not sitting here thinking they're gonna win, but I could at least see them making it a game.
I think they can make it very interesting. They
I
have
just realized
enough.
the Ravens Steelers game is on fucking Amazon Prime. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, fuck yeah, I just saw that too. Um, what the fuck? It's the only one that's exclusive to a streaming service.
Yeah,
Do you have Prime?
I do. I do.
No, okay. I was about to say, Jesus. Um, yeah, because I mean, the game obviously that I care the most about for obvious reasons is, I guess that's Sunday at 4:30. Eagles hosting
Yeah.
Eagles hosting the now depleted Packers.
Yeah,
Because
that's rough.
yikes, Christian Watson is in fact out for the what I mean. You say out for the year at this point, it's like, well, any injury would kind of do that, but
Right.
and then Love Love basically said he couldn't feel his entire arm from his elbow to his hand after what happened to him. And I was like, you kind of need to be able to feel your grip on a ball. Um,
Yeah, that's never good.
Throwback NFC Championship 2022 when the same shit happened to Brock Purdy and he literally could not throw because of that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Eagles by 80? I don't know.
I mean, Green Bay, their whole game against the Bears was interesting because they're like, all right, we're not going to risk bringing Love back. We're not going to risk like anything. And then they realized that Washington was losing at the time, and they're like, wait, maybe we should bring him back. And then Washington was like, nah, psych, guys, we're going to beat the Cowboys. So then Green Bay ended up losing to the fucking Bears on a 51-yard field goal where fucking Cairo Santos tried to do a Lambo leap.
I will
like,
never understand why these dudes try this shit when they're not a Packer. It's just
I loved the trolling because obviously like Chicago has nothing to celebrate about being 5-12, but the funniest thing is just that they beat the Packers and that was their first away win of the entire season too.
well, it's just it's crazy to just like see the fallout from the injuries because it's like you have the one side that's like this was a seeding game, it mattered because
Right.
you instead of playing Tampa Bay, you're now playing Philadelphia, and
And
it's
I'd much rather play Tampa Bay.
exactly so it's like you pick your poison though because Baker's been Baker. Yeah, I mean
True.
neither one of these is like a free easy anything. So and even looking at the bracket now, I'm like, so either the Eagles have a rematch with Tampa or their third game with the Commanders,
Right.
which will be. I kind of want the Commanders so we can just remind them very swiftly what happens when the Eagles are all playing and it's not Kenny Pickett.
Actually, if the Eagles win, you guys would not face the Commanders because the Lions play the lowest remaining seed.
Oh, regardless of anything. Okay.
Yeah. So they would play the
And
Commanders.
and the
Then,
Commanders would be. Yeah. I got you. I
yeah.
got you. I got
Then
you.
you would play either the
So
Rams or the Vikings.
or the Bucks if the Bucks were to
Well,
win
or the Bucks.
yeah,
The Bucks.
or if the Bucks were to win that game. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
I mean, the Rams.
It's
I
so
wouldn't be scared of the Rams, but the Vikings. I mean, Philly historically destroyed the Vikings in the playoffs and everything. So
it is just a matchup thing too, though. You think about it, it's like if Darnold plays the way he played most of the year, it's a game.
right.
If he plays the way he played yesterday, you're not worried. But they have weapons. That's the good. Let's be real. It's like you have to cover so many different guys. You have to like scheme for so many different guys. It'll be an interesting playoffs. I think the NFC is more interesting by a mile, actually. Like Eagles Packers is a rematch of the first game of the entire year. That was a close game on the worst field ever played on in NFL history.
Oh yeah,
That Brazilian soccer field was an atrocity.
that was really bad.
Like Rams Vikings has that potential because it's obviously like we're not going to pretend Stafford is any stranger to playing Minnesota.
Right.
And they get to host this game. Like that's another big thing to think about too. It's like it is in LA, so we'll see. And then Tampa, Washington, I think is going to be fireworks. I think that game's going to be nuts.
Oh, I think that's going to be a very entertaining game.
And then, like, obviously, Ravens Steelers needs no introduction. Nobody has to say a damn thing to anybody. That's exactly it is what it is.
I was really hoping to just avoid playing the Steelers. Just because something dumb always happens in those games. And it's against my entire in-law family. So
Yeah, and it's playoffs, so it just means more.
exactly.
But like Texans Chargers has potential because I want to see Herbert. I want to see Herbert go nuts, man. I really do. I like
Same.
CJ Stroud and I like a lot of the Texans players, but the Chargers, I'd probably be rooting for them. And then like the Broncos Bills one tears me a little bit because I obviously want to see Josh Allen truly make a run, like a real one.
Right.
But seeing Bo Nix win that game would be sick. That would be sick for me.
That would
I'd
be
be
pretty cool.
I'd be hyped. So
My only thing is then I would desperately hope the Broncos take out the Chiefs.
yeah,
Because if some stroke of luck fucking happens like it always does for the Chiefs, and say the Broncos win, then say like I don't know, say the Ravens win, and then say whoever wins, Texans, Chargers, so the Chiefs then would play the Broncos. Then say like the Ravens get upset by the Texans or Chargers, then like the Chiefs have the easiest fucking way to the Super Bowl again, and we're in this again where the Chiefs make the Super Bowl without having to really do much.
yeah. I it's going to be frustrating watching the AFC because we're I think the whole planet outside of fucking Missouri is sick as fuck of the Chiefs.
Oh yeah,
Literally, but
100%.
I'm just gonna do a fun bracket that's like an us bracket real quick.
I actually have one right here.
I'm making one on ESPN. Yeah,
I was
it's
gonna
gonna.
throw
I'm
this one up here.
I'm making the Super Bowl our teams.
Do we want to? Oh well, I set this one up. So if you want to make your picks, we'll throw a Tom's bracket and my bracket together.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna just submit this and then I'll do like an actual one for what we're doing on the screen.
All right.
Well, my NFC one over here I think is fairly believable, but actually I should probably do this. Yeah. How many points will be scored in the whole playoffs? What the frick?
The whole playoffs?
That's the tiebreaker question, brother. How many total points will be scored in the 24-25 NFL playoffs? 13 total games.
Good lord. I don't fucking know. Let's say
Jesus
the average is like
Christ.
42 a game.
So that would be 126, 526. Send it. All right. There's no way I can be an Eagles fan and not submit a bracket where the Eagles are the fucking champions. It's just not. It's not a thing I can't not do it. So. Oh, actually, how about let's roast another team. How about the Patriots for losing themselves the first overall pick?
Dude, Joe Milton looked fucking good.
He was insane. He did a damn backflip too. It was smooth. It was awesome.
Like, if I'm the Patriots, I'm kind of thinking about trading Joe Milton.
Bazooka Joe.
Like at that point,
what a guy.
Trade him to like Cleveland or somebody and get some value back.
I saw a meme of the dude. I don't know his name. I don't know his channel name or anything. It's the dude who's like, went to Chick-fil-A and ordered fries.
Oh yeah.
Picture him doing his like hand rubbing thing, and it just said Raiders looking at Tanner McKee. I was cracking up.
The funny thing is, in our NFL news like writers chat, I said Tanner McKee, the next starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, book it.
He's going to one of them, bro. He's going to one of them.
Oh yeah,
the Mormon missile.
I love that nickname.
So hilarious.
All right. So who you got for your picks here? We
All
can
right.
start with the NFC.
All right. I'm injury wise, are the Rams or Vikings missing anybody crucial at this exact moment that happened like recently that I'm
Um,
blissfully unaware of?
let me pull up their injury report. Rams. Let's see. Oh, Blake Corum's out, but that's not. I mean, he barely gets any snaps.
Yeah, that's not the worst thing I've ever heard ever.
Hunter Long, the backup tight end, is doubtful, and then Rob Havenstein, the offensive tackle, says he's expected to play. So it looks like the Rams are essentially fully healthy.
Okay.
And then the Vikings. Fabian Moreau should be ready for wild card. Pat Jones is second. The linebacker's questionable. And that's it.
Fair enough.
I think it's going to be a pretty good game.
I'm gonna take the Rams.
Oh.
I am. I'm just. They have home field. They're fully healthy. The Vikings do give up a lot of deep balls. Stafford has well, first off, he has a ring. Secondly, he has way more experience at this. And we just saw Darnold in a crucial game kind of fold a bit.
Right.
There's no guarantees that he will fold again. He could show up and be as great as he's been all year. And if that is the case, the Rams are fucked.
That's true.
But I'm going to take this chance to just take a risk on one.
Okay.
Because I think, to be fair, whoever the Rams played in the second round would beat them. And also the Vikings. The only team the Vikings could run into in the second round and still get a win is if the Packers beat the Eagles and the Commanders beat the Bucks. Then we get Washington.
Right.
Because I think Tampa has enough, even with Godwin out, to beat Minnesota too. Bucks Commanders in Tampa.
I'm excited for that one because
I'm really excited because I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to have any issue in the spotlight.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Oh, that game could go so many ways. Give me Washington.
Okay.
I think Scary Terry's going to go Super Saiyan.
Washington actually goes up there then.
Yep. Which means it'll be
the Rams move down here.
Yep, it'll be Eagles Rams because ain't no way I'm picking anybody but the Eagles.
Especially not fucking Green Bay.
Not now. It's like there's no guarantee Love is going to be fully good to go.
Right.
In my opinion, their best receiver is now out. Just athletically, their best receiver. I think he offers the most to a quarterback in Christian Watson. So yeah, I couldn't imagine the Packers winning. Stranger things have happened, and I'll be fucking sick if it happens. Now,
I would be right
in Philadelphia, but I don't see it. I think I have to, and I think anybody would have to take the Lions over the Commanders here. Bless you, my guy.
Thank you. I would 100% agree with that, though.
And then It's going to be the Eagles over the Rams. We saw the first matchup, and that was not in Philly. This one will be. Yeah. And then here's where it gets fun.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have, at this point, the NFL's number one defense officially, because the season's over and that's where they finished, which fuck yeah. Love that. And then let me see what is the highest points for in the entire league? Is it anybody but the Detroit Lions? No, it is not. It is the Detroit Lions. So, number one offense versus number one defense. I will stand on this rock for the rest of my life. I've always stood on it. Defense wins this, period. It just does. You could look at the history of the league. The main example that pops into my head where this matchup happened in my lifetime and it was super polarizing was the 2015 Super Bowl. Carolina, almost undefeated Carolina, had easily the best offense in the league by a margin that was just ungodly. And then the Broncos had the best defense by a massive margin. And the Broncos made the Panthers look like JV players in that game.
Yeah, that was bad.
It was an absolute beatdown. I just think without David Montgomery against this defense, that will matter. I know Gibbs is as versatile as he is. I guarantee you, if Gibbs is on the field, he's going to have like Cooper DeJean spying him. And they will have a fast defender just fully looking at only Gibbs, which obviously can be exploited, but everybody else has been playing well too. So I have to believe in my boys. I really do.
Fully understand that.
It's just like weird to come off the back of last year into this season, and then it started off 2-2, and then they go on that crazy ass win streak. Lose a game to Washington that they celebrated like it was the Super Bowl, even though Kenny Pickett played like 55 minutes of the damn game. It's like, relax. You barely beat us. Like genuinely legit barely beat us under 20 seconds left. This Eagles team feels very different.
I agree. It does. The vibes are high. Anything that's been thrown at them, they've figured out. They definitely feel a lot different compared to teams in like the last few seasons.
Yeah, well, it's like we gave up the second least points in the whole league by 2 points. The Chargers are the only team that gave up less.
Right.
And then the Broncos are, I believe, third. So it's like not only did we give up the least yards, we almost gave up the least points too. It wasn't like we had these random games where some crazy shit happened and skewed everything. They were consistent. And then if we move over to the AFC, I'm taking the Chargers. I'm not even going to think about it too hard because I just home field has not meant a damn thing to Houston in a while.
Nope.
That's where they got their ass whipping on Christmas Day was in their own building. So I don't know.
Yeah, to only get 2 points for an entire game at home is pretty bad.
That's tough. On a day where everybody like wants to be celebrating because they're in that kind of holiday spirit and you kind of sucked it away from them.
Yeah.
Well, and I just think too, it's like you have a defense that good and the Texans offense has been struggling massively to do anything. So that combination of things is enough for me to look at it and go, yeah, that's pretty clear cut.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Chargers are for the most part healthy.
True.
Like, let's see, all these guys are questionable. They have some dudes obviously on injured reserve, but it's not like the one guy I think they wish that they could have back right now is Asante Samuel Jr. That would be massive, but like Gus Edwards is questionable. Denzel Perriman's questionable. Josh Palmer's questionable, but at least it's not like they're just out already.
Right.
Whereas when you look at Houston, they have truly been devastated by injuries this year.
Yeah, that's been really bad for them. And I mean, even the questionable names are really hope they play.
Yeah. Autry, Mechie, Shaq Mason, Jeff Okuda, like there's Christian Harris. Like it's crucial names. And just to be down Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell, it's like that's your offense. Like you can throw to Nico Collins 20 times in a game if you want. You're going to throw interceptions. He's not going to catch all of them. The balance is gone.
But then also Jalen Petrie, he's been on IR. Jimmy Ward has been on IR.
Oh yeah.
So like you have a few defensive players on top of that were really important that are gone as well.
Nah, it's just going to be Lad McConkey's day to shine, I think.
I could see that.
And J.L. Dobbins will probably pop off too, to be honest.
True.
Which good for him, because how many injuries does one man have to fucking go through? But
seriously.
I'm taking the Ravens. I'm not even going to think about it. Pittsburgh can't fucking buy a win right now. And this one's it's in Baltimore. Like that enough is the difference to me. Because obviously for both of these teams, cold weather is not going to come into play here. Like there's some games in the playoffs that you think about it, like, oh, maybe. I think it's a stupid argument ever, but
yeah, true.
Unless it's
the only one it seems to affect is the Dolphins. Everyone else is fine.
That's what I was gonna say. Unless it's Tua. If Tua is going into cold weather, you're fucked. I'm sorry, you're losing. This next one intrigues me for a lot of reasons, because here's the facts. I wish I had the weather forecast for when that game is, because that would tell the whole story. Because Buffalo, this time of year, that field and atmosphere can just be a blizzard, which would obviously...
Right now, it says this is Sunday, right? Or is it? Yeah, Sunday at 1 o'clock. It says the high is 32, low is 24, cloudy.
That's not bad.
Not much wind is expected right now. Obviously, that can change a lot, but...
Yeah. So even just looking at like... Okay, so let's see. So, all right. I think I have my answer because of a very specific thing here. This makes it really easy, actually. Buffalo is 8-0 at home. Damn. The end. Buffalo it is. That's impressive. They had the same point diff as the Ravens to lead the AFC. Both the Ravens and Bills are plus 157.
Yeah, they've been pretty neck and neck all season.
Yeah. I mean, literally, it's seven points less for the Ravens scored and 7 points less for the Ravens against. Like, it's as even as possible. So one touchdown on both sides of the ball. I'm intrigued for a lot of reasons, but I think the Broncos will give them a game. It will not be... I don't think it'll be a walk in the park. I don't think it should be, because the Broncos, like I said, have allowed the third fewest points in the entire NFL, which in its own right is unbelievably impressive. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that game a lot. Do I want to do it now? I kind of want to do it now. I would love it for Lamar to get his revenge, but I think Herbert's going to get his first. I think I'm taking the Chargers over the Chiefs.
Okay.
I'll go full fucking psycho mode. I think some Harbaugh coaching magic, because the dude is no slouch when it comes to difficult playoff atmospheres and difficult playoff opponents. So I just think we've seen it, right? I mean, it's not like it's a flash in the pan or anything ridiculous. Both games between these teams this year have been really good.
Right.
The first one, the Chargers were up 10-0 and then kind of choked it, losing 17-10. The most recent one was yet another ref involvement multiple times, missed calls, ends a 2-point win for the Chiefs, and the entire world going, go like fuck off. It's just annoying now.
Yeah.
So I forget who said this, but I remember hearing it in 2022. It was saying it is, you can beat a team twice. Not going to say it's easy, but it's easier to beat a team twice. Beating a team 3 times in the same year can cause so many issues because they have so much film and so much tape to watch. And I know it goes both ways.
Yep.
But if I look at the Chargers, they narrowed the deficit from game 1 to game 2, and game 2 was in this building.
Right.
So I'm this could be a like walk-off field goal by Dicker the kicker. Like that's where we're at. Like this, it's going to be a battle. Like it is.
I like that.
Yeah. But I want it fucking desperately. I want to see Mahomes at the end of a game crying to a ref as the clock has already expired, begging for more time from his zebra daddy. And I just hope he gets to cry on the couch and watch somebody else win. But
that'd be amazing.
Ravens Bills. It'll be in Buffalo again.
Yep.
And it didn't fucking matter where. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is gonna be interesting because I don't. The first game was so one-sided.
Oh yeah, the first game was ridiculous.
Derrick Henry had 199, which holy shit, by the way. Yeah. I am going to take Baltimore. I am just not even I'm not going to overthink it, because the way I have to look at it, Baltimore's won 4 straight. They had to win they had to win a ton in this whole like race for the division title.
Right.
And they earned it. And like I think Lamar this year looked the best he's ever looked.
Oh yeah. I think it's definitely his best season ever.
Just the flow, the efficiency, even if some of the numbers aren't as high as others, if that's the case or not. Obviously they had Derrick Henry, so he had a legit run game for the first time. Right. Is Zay Flowers okay?
That's the thing. I think it was either Schefter or Rappaport said it's unlikely that he plays the wild card game, but should be okay if they win and move on.
Okay, so 10 hours ago, Harbaugh said Monday that Flowers avoided a season-ending injury and is considered day-to-day.
Yeah, it was like a knee sprain, I think they ended up calling it.
Okay, do you want honest? Get a fucking cortisone shot. Or just fuck it and just put a Joel Embiid knee brace on. One of those super fucking thick ones that like nothing's moving in there. And just be that guy that's getting the attention from the number 1 corner, so that a guy like Rashad Bateman could thrive. Or Isaiah Likely or Mark Andrews. Or even Justice Hill out of the backfield. Like but show up. I know it's we'll see what happens. Obviously, I don't want to see the dude like have a career-threatening injury because he pushes himself too hard.
Right.
But he's so crucial to what they want to do as a team that if he is declared out, I will ask you now to switch my pick, because that is a big enough thing to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's because we don't have that info today. So like,
because depending on Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman is a lot different than depending on Rashad Bateman and Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah, and I'll give credit to Nelson. The dude has plenty of playoff experience. He's not going to be shying away from an expanded role. I mean, just for reference, for all of the Aguilar haters out there, let me just remind you all, we're going to go to 2017. Beautiful. We're going to go to the Super Bowl. 9 catches on 11 targets.
That's
in
solid.
a fucking Super Bowl. Yes, sir. So they're like, obviously it'll be a big difference. Zay Flowers is a great talent, one of the better receivers in the league, or at
Yeah.
least blossoming into that. So that'll be kind of my coin flip on that. But if it remains that he is playing, or the Ravens do just win, and this bracket is what it is,
Right.
this, I think Herbert Lamar is an intriguing, kind of fun matchup.
I agree. And it's another Harbaugh Bowl.
Yes, and the first game was a 7-point game.
Yep.
Like it's never not interesting to see the Harbaughs go up against each other, and to be honest, I would kind of love that.
Oh yeah.
I really
My
kind of love
only
that now, but
my only concern is like as we were saying, like beating somebody 3 times is always really hard. Like John beat Jim in the Super Bowl when he was with the 49ers. Then he beat him this year with the Chargers. So then the third time I'm like, oh man.
agreed. I think he will. I think he will though. I think this is. I think it's. I don't want to even say fate. I think it's just cool that we started this podcast this year and our teams do legitimately have a shot to meet each other again in a Super Bowl. So I think I just locked that in.
Okay.
And then I love you, but you know who I'm picking. I gotta. It's got to be the Birds. But even just looking at that first matchup, like, what a game! Like it was just a fun, weird game. Like I have to circle weird with like 8 Sharpies because you look at the Eagles' offensive numbers and you're like, how the fuck did they win this game?
Right.
Like it didn't make sense. But games like that happen, and I think the Eagles will. I mean, they can look at all their mistakes in that game, play by play, leading up to that Super Bowl, and just not repeat that shit. And I think even though that wasn't like super long ago, I think the Eagles they've been playing so well since that.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, that was what, five games ago, right? I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So like for the Eagles, let's see. Yeah, they were 10-2 at the time, or they became 10-2 after that win.
Right.
So yeah, I have to believe in my boys for once in my life. But it is a case of literally like you have to now, like if this is the game that happens, Flowers will 100% be playing,
Right.
like 100%, and then you have to beat him. You have to beat Lamar. The Eagles always historically in my lifetime have problems with tight ends, and you guys have the best duo in my opinion. And then obviously King Henry. It's a lot. That's why I like the Ravens to, at a minimum, make it regardless of who they end up against, because if it is the Chiefs, if the Chargers don't beat the Chiefs and the Ravens have to do it, they have every motivation. They have more motivation than anybody on planet Earth, minus maybe Josh Allen. Like it's literally a case of they hate them, so they have to just do it.
Yeah.
But
especially with how the playoff game went last year. Like
it just went so ugly so fast.
Exactly. And Zay Flowers is definitely going to want revenge for that game.
100%.
So that's going to be a big one.
But yeah, that's my bracket, and I know I'm a homer for it. But even more than, like, way more so than 2017. 2017 Eagles fans, we're embracing that we were the underdogs, but none of us, I think, believed, yeah, we're going to win this shit. Like, it didn't make any sense for the Eagles to win that game, or to beat Minnesota 34-7,
right,
or to beat Atlanta when they had 5 straight attempts at the end zone from our 3. Like, it just, you know what I mean? It was like, it was Cinderella story, but it was fitting for Philly because it was their first ever Super Bowl. So it was like, storybook in that regard. This one
has a lot of expectations
for the but like for the first time since maybe 2004 when we had TO.
Right.
It feels like we should get there because we don't have like these insane injuries to all this like really crucial players the way the Lions do.
Right.
That will affect them at some point. I'm sorry, like I cannot pretend that missing as many starting personnel as they are, that it won't eventually catch up to them, and the Eagles have the right team to exploit that sort of deal. So
that's true.
But I am looking forward to seeing how different yours is.
I actually will say, part of me wanted to pick the Broncos over the Bills. I'm not that confident in the Broncos beating the Bills. I just would there's like this part in the back of my head that says like everyone is so far on the Bills side. No one expects the Broncos, and it could just come out to be like, oh, the Bills are kind of just like sending this game in to like get to the next round type of thing, and the Broncos surprise them. And plus, like Sean Payton, I mean, he's been in the playoffs. He's won a Super Bowl. Like he knows what has to happen. But of course, with a rookie quarterback, things don't always go to plan.
Yeah.
So I will take the Bills. I'm also taking the Chargers because I just don't have any faith in the Texans. There's been that meme going around ever since CJ Stroud had that moment with Caleb Williams that Caleb Williams has significantly outperformed him ever since.
Yeah.
And that says a lot when the Bears finished 5-12 and didn't even make the playoffs. So I don't have any faith in the Texans at all. So yeah, I'm taking the Chargers for sure there too, as just like you did. I will take the Chiefs to actually win that game. I don't want them to. I'm not going to be cheering for them to win that game, but
I would really fucking hope not.
Exactly. Like I really hope they lose, but the logic side of my brain is going to pick them. Now, the thing I've had the most difficult in my brain with is Ravens versus Bills, because obviously the fan part of me wants to pick the Ravens, but the logic side of me is like, look, the Ravens have really underperformed in the playoffs for the most part in the Lamar era. And I'm not pinning it all on Lamar like everyone else does, because Lamar has put up some pretty good playoff games that they end up losing. Either, the defense has an uncharacteristic game. Someone like Zay Flowers dives and reaches for the end zone and fumbles it right before the end zone type of thing. Those types of losses are not all on Lamar, even though that's what everyone likes to say. But with that being said, yes, the Ravens have underperformed when they come into the playoffs, and they've done it before as a number one seed and other high seeds. So it makes me nervous in that regard, especially against the Bills, because I think that whether Lamar wins or loses the MVP, the entire conversation of this game is going to be Lamar versus Josh Allen.
Completely.
Yeah, and the media has pushed for Josh Allen as MVP heavily. And so say, Lamar loses, it's just going to be, oh, see, Josh Allen deserved it. He's the best, blah, 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 and all sorts of stuff. And if Lamar wins, it's going to be, oh, Josh Allen didn't have enough help. Like he didn't have that many wide receivers and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, come talk to me when the Ravens' first ever fucking wide receiver got named to a Pro Bowl in the year of 2024. Anyway.
Anyway. Back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Oh, and by the way, Buffalo, you have fucking Amari Cooper. It's your own goddamn fault you don't throw him the ball. Like,
fact.
like they're acting as though they have no wide receivers ever. Oh, you got a guy named Amari Cooper who's put up multiple 1,000-yard seasons. Anyway.
I still don't get it either. Like it has been a weird case in the year of receivers that were traded for.
Yes.
Like the only one who even put up any sort of numbers whatsoever was Devontae.
Right.
But
And it's just because it was Aaron Rodgers and their butt buddies.
exactly. Like if it was anywhere else, it would have just been like, all right, who actually cares at all?
Right.
So yeah, agreed. They need to shut up and actually use the guy.
So I'm gonna go with the fan side of me. I'm gonna pick the Ravens. I don't feel 100% confident about it. I probably will never feel 100% confident about picking the Ravens. That's just who I am. So I'm gonna go with that. And so that brings me to this AFC Championship game again. I'm gonna break my own mold. I'm gonna pick the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl because I just have to at this point.
Yep.
And I would love if Lamar had this stretch of a postseason to beat his AFC North rival and Mike Tomlin and everyone that like seems to always have his number. Then go on to beat Josh Allen, the one that everyone puts him up against with this MVP thing and all of that. Then get revenge on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Like that would be a dream AFC run to then win a Super Bowl.
100%.
And I'd love to see it. With the NFC, this is where we probably differ a little more. I would pick the Bucks over the Commanders. I really like what they got going on down there. They got some really nice.
Wait, they would play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
They got some really nice momentum going on. Bucky Irving has been fantastic for them. Mike Evans is still a fucking beast with another 1,000-yard season to tie Jerry Rice's record. Cade Otton should be healthy for that game. That's a big thing for them if Cade Otton is healthy because he's actually had a great season for them too. And honestly, I think the Buccaneers defense, while they're not the best, they have their moments where I'm like, all right, you guys look like you can do a little something. So I'm going to go with them on that one. I'm taking the Eagles because I have no faith in the Packers at all, especially with Jordan Love, the way he's played for pretty much all of this season with his turnovers and everything. I mean, he got a little bit better down the stretch, but like when, like we were talking about before, you can't even feel the rest of your arm and everything. That's pretty alarming. So don't see that happening. So that takes me to Rams Vikings. While I like the Rams because I like Stafford, I like Puka, I like Cooper Kupp, I like all those guys, I like Kyron. I do think the Vikings defense will be able to capitalize on Stafford mistakes. I like the Vikings defense a lot. It's like you were saying, it's the offense with Sam Darnold that could be very shaky. So I'm taking the Vikings though, because I just like what they've shown all season. I think Justin Jefferson will probably go fucking crazy. They have Hawkinson back in the fold since like the last half of the season, which has been nice for them too. And Jordan Addison has had some really big games. So I'm going to go with the Vikings there. However, I still have the Lions beating them again. That's just how it's. Although, did the Lions sweep the season series with them?
Yep.
So it is the third time trying to beat them.
Yeah, but the first one was close, and then the most recent one, they fucking destroyed them.
That's true.
And it's in Detroit again. Like the only close one was in Minnesota, but it's not there. So
that's true. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Detroit. So then we got a rematch of Eagles Bucks again, but the Eagles are obviously a much different team from the last time they played in the playoffs.
Well,
Like,
they've played them. They obviously got whipped last year,
right.
and then the Brady Bucks beat them a couple
Oh,
years
true.
before that. So there's a lot of revenge for the Eagles here, because
That's
even
a
in the
good point. I forgot about that.
yeah, so there's a lot on the line for the Eagles in this matchup.
This is where we will differ, and I will apologize because it's nothing personal.
It's fine.
But I'm gonna pick Detroit to head to the Super Bowl because if I'm being honest, I think this is like their make it or break it year because their defensive coordinator is interviewing with set to interview with 3 or 4 different teams for their head coaching spot. But the bigger problem is the offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, is also interviewing for a ton of head coaching vacancies. And if they lose their offensive coordinator after this season, while their offense is still going to be very talented, he's been a genius of a coordinator with this fucking team.
Yeah.
And I think they'll still be great and everything, but I think this is the time to capitalize while still having him in-house as the offensive coordinator. And so now this kind of sets up, I wouldn't say like a revenge or rematch, but from last season when Detroit was all like, look at us, we're doing so well. And Lamar and company came in there and was like, yeah, cool story. And literally just smacked them around for an entire game. Let me see what the score of that was. Was that last season or was that 2 seasons ago? No, it was last season. Yeah, the Ravens won 38-6.
Yikes.
And in that game, Goff didn't even throw a touchdown, even though he threw the ball 53 times. Montgomery was not playing. Amon-Ra still had 100 some yards. Like, they still had a good bit of yards. But Lamar threw for 357 yards and 3 touchdowns. Had a rushing touchdown. Gus Edwards had a rushing touchdown. Mark Andrews had 2 of them. Aguilar had the other touchdown catch. So I'm obviously going to have to pick my boys here.
Yep.
But I already know that America's pick would be Detroit because everyone wants to see somebody win for the first time. And honestly, I get it. Like, don't get me wrong.
Given that it's Detroit, that's, I think, the other part of it is for our entire lives, literally, they've been horrible.
Right.
They had one decent year with Stafford, like genuinely like decent, where they had a record that was making them seem like, oh, maybe they could do something. They didn't.
Yeah.
And then obviously last year making the NFC Championship game and kind of choke jobbing it away. Like, actually, not even kind of. They choked that game away. They were up 24-10 and had the ball.
Yep.
And then it just fucking went sideways. So yeah, as an Eagles fan, I will fully acknowledge that the Lions are fucking horrifying, like they just are. But I just looking at what we have, what they have, I believe we could be a team to stifle their kind of creativity.
Oh, you could, for sure.
Like, we have enough speed on defense to keep up with these like reverse end arounds, these lateral plays that they have set up that are sick, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
super impressive and hard to execute, but they've done it really well. I think if that's the NFC Championship, the ratings are going to be insane.
Agreed. If the NFL gets these 2 conference championships, it would be ridiculous. I mean, even if the Bills made it instead of the Ravens, that would also be ridiculous. But like, these 2 would be pretty crazy. And with the Eagles, the only team in the NFC other than the Lions that I'd be like, maybe think a little bit to see if they to think if they might lose would be I'd probably say the Vikings, to be honest, just because of like the playmakers they have on defense and the fact that like even if Darnold might not have a great game, like the defense could keep them in it.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm not like I'm leaning like 65-35 Eagles.
Yeah.
Whereas with Detroit, I'm like, yeah, that's as close to 50-50 as I can get.
It is literally, it's going to be who has the hotter start, and if the team that has the hotter start can maintain it.
Right.
Because the Eagles have been a team that don't really get off to the hottest start. They're not like a first quarter team when Jalen's playing for whatever fucking reason. But this is a scenario where like that cannot really happen. They can't let that trend with Jalen as QB, like the no scoring in the first quarter or rarely scoring in the first quarter. Like you're gonna have to just first drive, make a statement, and stay in that pocket, and not let yourselves get out of whatever groove you're in. And then obviously the defense needs to they need to go nuts. Like they need to go berserk.
Agreed. Agreed. But either way, I think the playoffs this year are going to be very fun. They should be entertaining. So
I think so.
I'm excited for it. Which leads me to this. We have to do our final power rankings.
Hey.
So this is what we have had. I already right away, I'm obviously gonna do this.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And then the only other thing we really have to do is we have to move Seattle out of there and move the Rams up. But I guess we technically move the Texans up if we want.
And the Commanders.
Oh, yeah, and the Commanders.
Yep.
So I'm moving the Dolphins to super ass. I don't even care.
I like it.
Like, you mean to tell me you guys had a shot at the playoffs and you sat there and fucking lost to the Jets?
Okay. New England to Kensington's crack house for winning a game to lose the number 1 overall pick.
Yes.
And the Giants did it the week prior, so they get to stay in that house with them because what the fuck are we doing?
I will move the Bears up 1 because they
Yes.
did win a game.
Yes. They finally exited the abyss. My goodness.
Do have to move Cincinnati up. They had a great end to their season to really shoot for the playoffs, but they just didn't do enough throughout the year to not depend on people.
That's fair.
I will give them that.
That's fair. The Raiders can move to Epstein's Island because somebody else has to be there. The Titans cannot be alone. But the Titans definitely aren't leaving because they're 3-14. So fuck them. Do we want to just because the Falcons kind of choke this shit away so bad? Do we want to
move them down?
Yeah, because they were kind of in a really good position, and they weren't.
And I will still say though, I like what I'm seeing from Michael Penix.
Same, but it is literally a case of a franchise just making so many questionable decisions.
Oh, for sure.
In such a short amount of time. It's like if you were gonna sign Cousins for that kind of deal, you didn't need to then draft a QB. And then the flip side is if you knew you were going to draft a QB, you did not need to sign Cousins. Like you just and you see how the season played out. It's like you were already ready to not use Cousins anymore somehow. Like you did a 4-year giant deal. Like, and now, like at least you have a QB that you can move forward with, like and see a future with, right?
Yep.
But you have this massive contract to deal with now that really makes it harder to properly build a deep team on both sides of the ball. I think the Judon trade was a great move when that happened. I think that was really smart. but they have a lot of work to do financially now that they shouldn't have to do.
Oh yeah.
So,
Other thing I would do is I'm moving San Fran down 2 spots because they ended the season on a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah.
And finished 6-11. So
and
that's
it's not like every important player was hurt. Like, yes, C-Mac was out. Yes, Jordan Mason was out. Debo talks way too fucking much, and he really didn't do a fucking thing to help them win games. Like,
and even before Brandon Ayuk got injured, he had that entire holdout and looked terrible until he got hurt. And honestly, I've never seen a running back room so cursed with the way San Fran's was.
So cursed.
Literally 4 running backs injured? That's insane.
It's ridiculous. Like, but I mean, it raises questions. I'm like, okay, are we just not like working these guys out the same way in practice and in the weight room and everything? And there's no kind of like stretching or anything. Like, they're all just getting these roughly similar injuries, like to ligaments and joints and hamstrings. It's like, can we sort it out, guys?
Exactly.
And to be honest, Purdy did not look like a dude who needs to get a max contract, which I've been saying he's not.
Also
because he fucking isn't. There's a reason you take a guy with the absolute last pick in a draft at Iowa State. It's because that's where he belonged. And what happened was you had a healthy O-line in previous seasons. Obviously, Trent Williams being hurt is about as big an O-line injury as there is in the NFL. Regardless of anybody else, that dude, if he talks, you listen because he's a fucking monster. But like, what? Come on! Like, Jordan Mason was playing extremely well, so you were missing McCaffrey as far as like maybe the receiving aspect that he provided you, but you had a run game to provide that balance. And when Mason first started playing, you still had all of them. You had Debo, Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, George Kittle. There were no excuses for underperforming. Obviously, like, you lose Ayuk, it's a guy you're targeting a lot per game, but it's not like he was catching a lot. Dude was hot ass.
Jennings played very well this year.
Jennings was a stud. He deserves a ton of credit. Pearsall was kind of invisible for a 5-week stretch. He looked a little bit better in these last couple, which good for him because obviously starting the year off by getting shot is a little interesting.
Yeah, true. Kittle had one of the best seasons for a tight end this year. So, like, you still had people producing.
Yeah. Well, and I look at Kittle too, though. I'm like, my opinion with Kittle is I don't think it matters who's throwing to him. He's that good.
True.
Like, he just legit is good at every aspect of the tight end game that you need. Like, he can block. He can obviously catch extremely well. He's an energy guy that brings up his entire team. Like, he's just kind of the man. And I hate San Francisco. I hate them. I think they have a lot of divas. Kittle's not one of them. Kittle's the guy I like. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, then the Hall of Fame needs to be lit on fire. Like, he's incredible. So, they have their pieces. It's just going to be a matter of they're going to sit down together and decide is Purdy our guy or is he not our guy? And as an outsider, I hope they say he is the guy because I don't think he is, but we'll see. I hope they pull a Cowboys, just fucking sign into some mega deal.
Oh yeah, agreed.
But we'll see.
Yep. Otherwise, I think we pretty much. Oh, I would move the Jaguars down to Epstein's Island too. Okay. Especially they just fired Doug Peterson.
We can move the Cardinals down to Super S too because they just did us wrong all year.
And then they win the fucking final. They decide to play offense for once.
Yeah, they put up so many points, and I was just looking at it like, bro, where the literal shit has that been in all these crucial games?
7 points.
Like, take some of the points out of that game and spread them across their close losses or whatever, and you're like, dude, look, think of the season you could have had, or like you could still be having because you wouldn't be over yet. It's just frustrating.
Exactly. They had
But
40 points twice this year against the Rams in week 2 and then the 49ers in week 18 when it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah, and they put up good points against Buffalo too. That
True.
was the game that made us think maybe they could do some shit this year.
Exactly.
To be in Buffalo playing as well as they played that game. Like,
And they only lost to Detroit by a touchdown.
yeah, like they had mojo. Sometimes.
And then they followed that up by losing 42-14 to the Commanders.
Exactly. It is frustrating. They're just a frustrating team. I don't think I think anybody criticizing Marvin is an idiot because I saw he has like within 15 yards he has like identical numbers to his dad in his rookie year. Like
Right.
and that's crazy, by the way. Like, what the irony, but he has all the potential for a reason because he is athletically gifted. His hands are true. He runs solid routes, and he will develop more. It's that simple. He went to a school that does nothing but produce NFL talent at wide receiver. That's all they do. Like Jackson Smith and Jigba, Chris Olave, just to name a couple very recent ones. Obviously, Garrett Wilson. Like it doesn't stop, and it's
Right.
going to be what's his name? Jeremiah Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Is that his name?
Smith, I think, yeah.
Yeah, like he is going to be another one, guaranteed. Whoever takes that guy has a dude for a long time that will be reliable. So, dude, if you're a Cardinals fan and you listen to this, do not worry about Marvin Harrison Jr. That kid is going to just take leaps every year. It's coming.
Get more O-line, get some more defenders.
Yep. Because I don't even hate Kyler. Like, my issue with Kyler is when he tries to play superhero.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same exact issue I have with Jalen Hurts at times. Is when if the play is dead, get outside of the pocket and throw the fucking ball away. That's
Right.
all you have to do. You don't need to make every single play the ultimate highlight reel play. Because Kyler has the dual threat, like he has the dual threat versatility. He has a good arm. He just does.
Yep.
And he just needs to really like I don't know if you play more focused. Is that a way to say it? Like,
Probably.
because I get playing loose because he does seem to play kind of loose. Like, even the way he runs, you're like, if you get hit by a guy you don't see, that ball's going to be like 30 yards down the field in a defender's hands in 2 seconds, and he's running into the end zone. Like,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, the Cardinals just like they have promise, but they have so much work to do still, which is just irritating because it shouldn't be that way.
No, absolutely not. So with that being said, before we get to the grid, I will just show the latest ridiculous video.
Oh boy.
oh boy.
So Tyreek Hill, we brought it up a little bit.
God. All right, hold on. I'm grabbing another beer for this because I remember reading. I read the dialogue from this, but I didn't hear his voice saying it.
Oh yeah. So while you get that, I'll just preface.
Yep.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill after the Dolphins' last game essentially just said he wants out of there. He essentially said everything without straight up saying, I demand a trade, which is insane because that kind of thing never happens in not only football, but professional sports. You don't just hear guys sitting there saying that. And the thing that makes this even more entertaining to me is the fact that Jimmy Butler essentially did the same thing like a week ago. And now Tyreek is saying it as well. So Miami sports fans are down bad right now.
What's the club scene like down there? Something must be off.
Exactly.
Something must be going wrong. They're like, hey, well, for Tyreek to be out of there, it's like, brother, you have nurtured to life an entire football team with your seed. Like, you're not missing out on that. So
Exactly.
what are
So
we
this
doing?
is what he had to say.
Oh boy.
You injured, or what was the deal with that?
Yeah, man. So
all season I've been dealing with, a little issue, and so
Was it the left wrist that?
right, so coach kind of pulled me out.
How would you describe this season for you now that it is over?
Oh, season was great, man. I had my daughter, so that's a plus for me. I'm happy, I'm blessed, man.
When you say coach pulled you out, Mike McDaniel pulled you out because your wrist was injured?
Just one of those issues, man, that when you look up at the scoreboard, Chiefs are, down, and it's like, okay, so.
How do you feel about not getting to 1,000 yards this season?
I mean, it is what it is, man. It's life, man. I feel like at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that, I need to reassess, about, my career and, just see what I need to do, to continue to get better, as a player, so I can continue to reach that 1,000-yard mark. So it is what it is.
What do you think is the biggest reason the team finished 8 and 9?
I would say for me, man, as a captain, it was a tough season, man. It sucks, man, missing QB1, man. It really hurts a lot, man. Not having him, but Snoop did a great job of filling in whenever he learned the offense, getting us going. But whenever you're missing, your franchise player, man, it kind of sucks. So.
As a captain, what was the message you got to these guys in the offseason? Do you want to feel this at the end of the season next year?
I don't even know, bro. This is my first time I haven't been in the playoffs, man. So, I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, or if that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. So it was great playing here, but at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for for my career and what's best, because I'm too much of a competitor to be just out there.
Mean you thinking about leaving here?
If it is, hey, yes.
Yes. Yes.
You heard the lady say last question, like he was so close to just like give the political answer and get out of there. He was so close.
Yeah.
And just decided to keep going with that last answer.
But I can't, you know what? I can't even hate on him, for being honest. I really can't. True. Because the first thing he said that would make me think, yeah, I think he would want out. It's the first time he's ever not been in the playoffs.
Right.
So if you are that level of competitor, I get it. I do get it. And then let's be clear here. If you know you need the Broncos to lose and you are going to get in, if you win that game, if you look up and you see fucking 20+0 at whatever point he looked up there and saw that.
Yeah.
What are you actually playing for at that point? Realistically, if there's an achievable goal, that goal is now out of reach.
Exactly.
I can't disrespect the honesty in that answer because that's real. I get that, fully get it. And then coaching wise, I don't know how to feel about this dude. He's a weird guy.
He is weird, and I felt like he was creative the last couple seasons, but this season it just didn't feel the same. Now, obviously, there was injuries and the whole thing with Tua, and we didn't even know if he was going to play football again, and so on and so forth. But it was just, I don't know, the offense just seems so disjointed, even at times with Tua there. And Jalen Waddle,
where'd he go?
He essentially disappeared.
Yeah, he was useless.
He had 2 touchdowns the entire season. He didn't even break 800 yards. Yeah. And in his first 3 seasons, his lowest target total was 104, and that was in 14 games. In 15 games this year, he was targeted 83 times and only had 58 catches. So, like, I just don't understand where any of that went. Now, nobody expected Mostert to replicate what he did last season. But like Mostert pretty much didn't even play all season, let alone not replicate it.
But even when he did actually suit up and have snaps, he was just nothing. Like,
right.
Which it's a crazy turnaround.
Yeah. Like the biggest bright spot has been Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, yeah, I don't really know what else to tell you. But it just seems like something's got to give. And like you said, I don't blame Tyreek Hill for thinking this way, especially like, yeah, that's impressive that this is the first time he hasn't made the playoffs. And for him, I mean, yeah, he's won a Super Bowl. I mean, he's literally he's a 5-time All-Pro first team.
Yeah.
And has made the Pro Bowl every single season except this season.
Yeah. But I look at, he'll know about more of the inside, like, ongoings within that organization than we would ever see, or the media would ever see. There's so much shit.
Right.
So, like, for him to reach a point where he's that brutally honest in an interview, like one of the last interviews of the entire season, like, it's a lot of built up shit.
Oh yeah.
Clearly. And he's just being real, which so many players, we know players want to say shit like that. We know it.
Yeah.
They just don't. Him doing it, if he's been interested in leaving Miami now for like a better part of the season, I think this almost guarantees he's gonna get his wish. But
for sure.
But it is a case of you had better have a say in where you're going, or it might not be grass is greener on the other side.
I mean, shit. If he goes to either the Chargers or the Broncos,
yeah, I think if Justin Herbert had him, brother, holy Christ,
that would be in shit. Tyreek and Lad McConkey,
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and week 18, Quentin Johnston, because he fucking went nuts yesterday. Like, what the hell was that? I saw 10 catches next to his name, and I was like, is that the same guy? He doesn't catch things. He drops things. What is this?
The same guy that dropped the ball right into his chest?
It's like, what the yeah.
But yeah, like this year for Tyreek was like his lowest yards per game since his rookie season. Yeah. He only had 56 yards per game. His lowest catch total since 2019. His lowest target total since 2019. His lowest yards per reception. 2021 had a little bit of a fraction less, but like really his lowest since his rookie season.
And that would make sense though, because you had Skylar Thompson and fucking Tyler Huntley trying to throw, and they're not going to be throwing the deep balls as much as Tua would.
Right.
So those like big plays that Tyreek's used to getting were just not even going to be, like, those plays weren't even going to be called. So the opportunities were never going to present themselves.
Right.
And even
if
they were, like, the accuracy of your QB is now questionable.
Right. But it was like we were just saying how the offense just seems so different compared to seasons in the past. Like when Tua came back, I still felt like they weren't really targeting him down the field. There was one game when Tua came back where he averaged 18 yards per reception and he only had 2 catches in that game with 7 targets. But the rest of them were like 11, 9, 8, 5, 9, 10. Like, he still wasn't getting those deep balls even from Tua outside of like the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me, which like is probably what also has built up his whole thing is he's gonna be open down the field.
Yeah, he's fast as shit. Like that
Right.
is one of his good traits. Like he has good hands and his routes are clean. So like he kind of has it all, which is why you're a five-time first team All Pro, which is ridiculous, by the way.
Oh, insane.
You touch a first team ever, you were a good player. 5 times is bananas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get his frustration, and I understand that wanting to win. Like you know what I mean. Like if you're a competitor, that's just like in you, and we know that that's exactly his mindset. So
Yep, exactly. So that takes us to the grid if you want to pull that up.
yep, this one's a strange little mix we got here.
Oh, okay. So we got Giants, Titans, and 10 plus sacks in a season across the top, and then Rams, Broncos, Chiefs across the side.
Here,
Hmm.
yeah.
Interesting. I mean, Rams sacks, we both know the obvious answer.
Couldn't be Aaron Donald.
The Rams Giants, I feel like there's somebody standing out in my head, but I just like I can picture them, but I can't.
I have it. I have the most obvious one I can think of is Kurt Warner.
Oh, I didn't even realize. When did Kurt Warner play for the Giants?
Was his in between the Rams and the Cardinals
Oh wow, I
For
completely
one-
forgot about that.
for like one season.
Honestly, Kurt Warner might be a good answer there
I'm just doing it, bro.
because I don't know how many people realize he was on the
25.
Giants.
25.
I mean, that's not terrible. Hmm.
Ugh.
Chiefs Giants.
That's a funky one for me.
Yeah. I feel like there's a running back that probably fits Chiefs Giants.
Probably.
Mm,
Oh man.
I actually have one for Chiefs 10 plus sacks, and he's recent, but I'm not sure if people like really think of him that often. But George Karlaftis.
That was my first thought too. So it was like 3%.
Wow.
I'm actually shocked that few people think about it. The dude is like, what is year 2 or 3? I mean,
Yeah, it's only his third season.
he's a baby, but he's been good.
Yeah. I mean, 6 sacks, 10.5, 8. Like,
Yeah.
he's solid.
I mean, he's next to Chris Jones, so Chris Jones is out here just
Well-
killing people, so it's fair.
True. Denver 10 plus sacks. Denver's had a lot of people, but
The name that just immediately came into my head was Von Miller, but that one
Same.
that'll be really high, I think.
oh, I agree. If it's not high, then I don't know what is wrong with people.
Did Bradley Chubb ever touch 10 sacks? Hold up.
Probably. They have a couple guys this season that put 10 plus sacks up. Like Nick Bonito has over 10 sacks.
Sick.
And Jonathan Cooper.
I'm doing Bradley Chubb. He got it his rookie year, actually.
Oh wow, okay.
And he's not like 3% sick.
Wow.
Because he's on Miami now, and his like he had 12 sacks his rookie year. He never broke 10 again with Denver. So I think
damn.
it just kind of went out of his, you know what I mean? Like for this, it's not in people's heads.
Right.
Because
Yeah, that makes sense.
his rookie year was 2018.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's been hurt too much. Like he literally has played 2 16-game seasons.
Yeah, he's
That's
been hurt
it.
a lot.
Like he only played 4 games his second year, and then he had 7, 8, 8 between 2021. Or actually, okay, 8 with Miami, 8 with Denver. But even in those combined, only had 8 sacks. So
Oh wow.
because he was a midseason trade, I remember that trade. Give me a. Ooh. Wait, I know he did it. I don't even know why I'm checking. If I could spell his goddamn name. I know he succeeded in doing this.
I have
with this
2
team.
for the Sacks and Rams.
I have one that I really. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, he clears by 18 miles. We're who you got?
The 2 I was thinking of were Chris Long and Robert Quinn.
Then Robert Quinn it is, because that was exactly who I was thinking of.
Ah, there we go.
4%.
That's surprising because I thought Robert Quinn was a bigger name.
He is. I mean, he had 10 and a half. This is a 3-season stretch between 2012 and 2014. 10 and a half, 19, and then 10 and a half again.
That's crazy.
19 sacks, bro. What a fun year for the Rams that year would have been, too. I know they didn't win jack shit, but they drafted Tavon Austin. They drafted Stedman Bailey. They just had the wacky kind of interesting offense that year.
Yeah.
Actually, who was their it's still at Bradford. That's right. Bradford played 7 games and then got hurt because of course he did. And then they had Kellen Clemens.
Oh, I forgot about Kellen Clemens.
Yep. And it was a bummer too because Bradford started off the year with like a 14-4 TD to INT ratio and was looking like real good. And then bam.
Never the same again. Sammy Sleeves.
So Sammy, the worst uniform in the history of the NFL, sleeves. Him in that Eagles jersey with those long sleeves looked so bad. So bad.
Chiefs Titans, the obvious one is L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah.
I'm sure plenty of people put him in there. So
there's gotta be another one of those like weird mid-2000s receivers that the Titans had.
Oh wait, what about
and I can't remember any of their fucking names, but I can picture their numbers and like fully what they look like in uniform.
Yep.
Okay, I remembered one of the names. I don't think he was ever a Chief. We could check if we want. Kenny Britt. He was a lot of places.
Ooh.
I know that.
He was a lot of places.
I know he was also a Ram. So that's one of the names we could use up there. We could use Kenny Britt for Rams Titans. I know he was both of those, but if he's a Chief.
I actually just thought of wait.
Okay, Kenny Britt as a Ram Titan might be really high, actually, because he played a lot of seasons for both. So there's a chance but if people remember him.
Oh, damn. Never mind. This guy played for the Chiefs and the Rams, which obviously isn't a square. Kenny Britt's a good one, though, because I completely forgot about him.
I'm going to put him up here. Because this one I know it's locked.
Yeah, I'd say do it.
W, 5%. That's not bad.
That's solid.
Titans, Broncos is weirding me out. Okay, I'm going to name some of the Broncos' many failed quarterbacks, and we'll see if any of them sound good. So, Paxton Lynch.
Oh God,
Brock Osweiler.
good old Brock Osweiler.
I think was he only a Texan after, and then nobody was ever going to touch him again? Is that how that went?
Probably.
I think so. Hold up, I'm curious now because I think actually no, his final stop I believe was Miami.
Oh, Bronco Giant is Drew Lock.
True.
I would hope he'd be a bigger one though, because obviously he just played for the Giants in their last game.
I hope somebody at some point has said that Brock Osweiler looks like a Robert Pattinson because he does. Because he just does.
Look.
His headshot on ESPN looks exactly like Robert Pattinson.
I can see it. I forgot Brock Osweiler technically is a Super Bowl champion.
That's disgusting. Don't ever say that again. All right, we'll put Drew Lock's cheesy ass face there. We'll just do it because I don't. That rabbit hole right there is tough.
Yeah.
Giants, Chiefs.
Broncos, Titans. I feel like there's a few that I know, but I just haven't unlocked that part of my brain.
Oh, I'm definitely in that category.
No. No.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Fuck. All right. I have a Chief Titan, but it's going to be high. And I know it's going to be high. DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's going to be high, but
completely forgot about him.
Yeah.
Oh, Broncos, Titans. Eric Decker.
Hell yeah. You know what's crazy though is I literally anytime you'd say Eric Decker to me ever now, I feel like I only picture him as a Jet.
Yeah, me too. Damn, 53? I don't even remember Decker as a Titan.
Because he looks like a fucking supermodel of a dude. So all the chicks playing this shit are like, Eric Decker, I need to see his face.
Oh, apparently his last season in the NFL was with the Titans. I didn't even remember that.
Must have been really bad for his career to then end.
True.
Because I feel like that Super Jets year was what, like 2014? That magic year with him, Brandon Marshall, and Fitzmagic?
Yeah.
That year was insane. And Chris Ivory at running back?
Oh, yeah.
What a fucking...
That year never should have really happened.
What a squad, bro. That was awesome.
Oh, God. That fucking year.
All right. I mean, we already have some high percenters. Let me just get DeAndre's ass in here. Doink, 47. Yep. Okay. Chiefs Giants is just a horrendous pairing of two franchises in my head. I don't like it.
There's definitely like a backup quarterback.
I'm just gonna look up the obscure wide receivers from when the Giants were good. Let's actually remember some of them.
Because the Chiefs have had some random ass quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, they have. Well, they did for a while, and then they had Alex Smith into Mahomes. So,
yeah,
for that part of it. Oh Christ! Who was their running back right before Saquon? They had to be. Yeah, they had to not be.
It wasn't Tiki.
Hell no. Because Tiki was succeeded by Brandon Jacobs.
Right.
And then Brandon Jacobs was succeeded by Ahmad Bradshaw?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see where Ahmad ever went in his career. I think that probably the Colts is the other one. Yeah. There's a name I wish was still playing, man. He was a beast. I liked Ahmad Bradshaw.
I did too.
He was a damn good player. Jesus Christ, hold on. Let me just do what I always do. Players for Chiefs and Giants. Let's see if these names are some that we could just. Oh God. Okay, that one's just stupid, and I have to put it now, but no way were we remembering that dog shit.
Oh God.
Get the fuck out of here. Okay, all right. One is recent. One is hilarious. Two are recent-ish.
Is the hilarious one recent or no?
And over a decade ago.
Oh.
But it's really funny.
Oh God.
And there's actually a lot of names on here I recognize. Quentin Demps.
Oh, I forgot about Demps.
Quentin Demps, good player. John Carney, yeah. I saw his name. I was like, I know you.
All right, what's the hilarious one?
Peyton Hillis.
Wow.
I can't believe that.
In my mind, I only know him as a Cleveland Brown.
Oh my God, his Pro Football Reference photo is amazing.
Oh God, I have to look at that.
Holy shit. He looks like this. Oh, he looks like the singer for Sabaton, which as soon as you look up the Pro Football Reference thing, look up Sabaton lead singer, and you will see it. And just for reference, Sabaton is a like Swedish historical recreation metal band.
They do look exactly alike.
Exactly the same, bro. Holy crap. All he needs is that dude's glasses, and they're like twins.
That's hilarious.
That is amazing. I had no idea he ever. I had
It's
no
funny
idea
because he played for the Browns. He played one season for the Browns, and that's the only thing I remember him as. Or no, sorry, 2 seasons. 2 seasons.
But dude, I didn't have a clue he started somewhere else.
I didn't either.
I didn't have a clue he started with Denver. That's crazy. The super recent name was Kadarius Toney.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then another Giants legend. I have to say Giants legend. Kevin Boss.
Oh, I remember that name just because it was a great name.
Yep. That's like, as far as, I mean, we have Morton Anderson, early 2000s. I'm looking through this. It's really not a good list. There's a reason we were struggling, and oh my God. Rakeem Nunez Roches played 30 plus games with both teams. As recently as this year, he played for the Giants this year.
What?
Yep.
I don't think I've ever heard that name once.
What? He is a defensive tackle. Rakeem Nathan Nunez Roches. He had 14 tackles, 2 sacks this year.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that name one.
I mean, his career numbers are as abysmal as anything. All right, he has 133 total like games where he was suited up and could have been in the game. He has 6 sacks and 97 total tackles. Yeah, he's not like a star, but he's been in the league for like a while now. I mean, that's 8 seasons worth of games, just about. So he's just a second team rotation guy. Ooh, here's a name I think you would know. Lawrence Tynes.
I definitely would know that. I forgot about them.
He is, I was going to say, I remember that name. As soon as I saw it right here, I was like, oh, yeah, he was good. Gotta love that kicker gang, bro.
Good old kicker gang.
All right. Peyton Hillis. Lock it in.
Fucking Peyton Hillis.
Lock it in. 3% W. Oh, man. That's crazy, dude.
Oh, man.
So okay. Bobby Trees, Odell Beckham,
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Donald,
Von Miller, like we said.
Look at Kadarius Tony's picture.
His picture is ridiculous.
Dude looks like he's about to drop the worst rap album in history. Holy.
He
God.
never took a picture without that fucking
Head warmer, fucking balaclava looking ass.
Yeah, he never took
That's
a picture
crazy.
without it, which makes me wonder, like, what the fuck is under that thing?
Actually, yeah, no, hold on. I'm absolutely Googling Kadarius Tony hair. Somebody must have seen him in the wild. Okay.
Is it bad?
I've seen worse. I've seen plenty worse. I think DeAndre
Oh, I
Hopkins,
remember when he had that hair. I don't
Yeah.
understand why he covers that up then.
University of Florida. Yeah.
Interesting.
He looks so just full of joy right here. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
knows he's just going to go to the NFL and wreak havoc on his own team with all his drops.
His neck looks like the size of my thigh.
It is actually crazy that he just became so horrendous. Like the Browns signed him for like 2 days because he got on the field for 10 seconds and fucked up both times.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like what
That
the
was
fuck?
crazy.
That was like your last shot in the league, dude. That was it.
He's a government plant. There's no other. Can't change my or like a plant from a sports book. One of
Oh,
the two.
for sure. They're like, put him in there and then talk about him. And they'll be baited. Everybody will be baited into thinking it's a good idea. And then we'll
Exactly.
take all of their money because it's never a good idea.
They're like, guys, everyone took the over on this game. Put Kadarius Tony in.
Yeah, get him in. Yeah, fucking like Caesars and MGM calling up the Browns before that game, being like, "Listen, tell them on the sideline, fuck it up, fuck shit up. Sorry, I know you guys want to win. Get them out, just let them loose."
Oh God. On that note, looks like that is it here for us this week.
Shit.
We will be back again with another episode. Make sure you turn on the bell. It lets you know when we go live in your notifications. Like this if you guys enjoyed the episode. Subscribe if you enjoy the podcast. We'll have plenty of videos throughout the NFL offseason for sure. We'll definitely have some draft videos again when that comes around.
I was gonna say I can finally start cooking again because once the NFL season's over, so right around first week of February, I'm gonna start doing some like previews of players.
Okay.
And then post draft, I'll do videos on players that like maybe would not have gotten as much national attention, i.e. Bucky Irving. Like Bucky Irving last year. So I think that's how I'll do it. We'll just do full rundowns of like some of the bigger names and then like medium names and then post drafts. It'll be a lot. It'll be a lot of videos, but it'll be fun because I do miss making them. I just don't want to make them for the sake of it without an idea that I really like. And it is an awkward time right now because like hockey's it's in the regular season. Basketball's in the regular season. Baseball, I could do some baseball around like I guess the winter meetings happen and I could do some shit on that, but football's the main squeeze for us for the channel and stuff. So yeah, but look forward to that, guys. It's in about a month. You'll start seeing them fly out.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of stuff. I'll obviously be talking about the playoffs and the Super Bowl and everything like that too. So we'll have plenty of stuff like that. I'm sure we'll have more basketball, more hockey topics as those seasons roll on as well. And we get into the off season of football. And then, like you just said, baseball will be coming too. So be on the lookout for everything. You can also catch us everywhere you get your podcast. We have videos on Spotify, but audio on everything else. So check us out there as well. So we will catch you guys next week. Peace.